Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Oaklawn Park here on Saturday. It is the 30th of March 2024. Going to look at the stakes races on the program, including the Arkansas Derby. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Hit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And I mean it, around the world. Remember, go check out my Florida Derby preview also. It's an excellent day of racing there. But let's look at the stakes action, races 9 through 12. The ninth race from Oaklawn, it is the Oaklawn Mile. It's a Grade 2 event going for a purse of $500,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of, let's see, a field of 8 horses taking a lap around the main track, which is 1,600 meters, or a mile on the Oaklawn main track, starting and ending at the 16th pole finish line. Top selection here, I'm going to go with the 2 horse Dennington, 2-4-8-6 in the superfecta for me, 2-4-8-6 super. Top selection 2 horse Dennington. This 4-year-old called by Gunrunner, Kenneth McPeak trains. Brian Hernandez Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 16th of December at Oaklawn on the mud seal going, a mile and 1/8 into Tinsel, and the horse finished 5th by 6 lengths that day, and he just had a wide trip, and he really never got there. It wasn't his day to win. Hopefully finding a dry track here today where he could be forwardly paced. I think he could find the trip to win. 2 back, he ran at Churchill on the 26th of November, 1 mile and opposite 25, and he won by a length that day and saw a good pace up front to close into. His last most of the race, he was closing up well late, and he got the job done. A very good gritty performance for him that day. And then prior to that, he ran an optional 125 at Keeneland, a mile and 1/8, 20th of October. He finished second by a length. The winner really took off clear. This horse is wide, but again, he was gaining. Came on with a very nice 91 buyer there. And then the Bourbon Trail for the mile 3/16 of Churchill. He finished 4th by 7 lengths that day, and he just didn't attack that day. I thought he was facing a little bit tougher competition there. And then the St. Louis Derby at Fairmount, he wasn't getting into it. He hasn't won since early 2023, he had one victory at the beginning of 2023, won at late 2023. He's making his first start of the season here today, training well at the fairgrounds. He could definitely win. I think the 4 horse Midnight Rising could win also for Jordan Blair and Esquivel. Most recently, an optional 75 here at Oaklawn on mile 16th and 2nd of March. The horse won by 2 lengths from a tracking trip. He really found the mojo to win that day. Prior to that, in the mud over the mile locally in a allowance race for $140,000 in early January, he won by 1/4 lengths again. Front to front end, he really took off clear. That was his first start on dirt also. Since coming to the dirt, his buyers have really improved. He likes this track. He's training well over it. I'll give him a shot. He's been really on the up and up, back to stakes quality horses today. But to recount my selection for the ninth from Oaklawn now, it's the Oaklawn Mile. I'm going to take the 2 horse Dennington and give kudos to the 4 horse Midnight Rising, 2-4-8-6 super, 2-4 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 10th race now from Oaklawn, which is the Matron Stakes. It's going for a purse $250,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here. Let's see if we can get this page to flip over. Field of 10 horses going 1,200 meters to 6 furlongs in the Matron. I'm going to go with the 7 horse here, Royal Spa. 7-6-8-5 for me in the superfecta. 7-6-8-5 super. Top selection 7 horse Royal Spa. 4-year-old filly by Violence. Rudolph Brissett trains. Ricardo Santana Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the American Beauty locally. 6 furlongs in the mud, 3rd of February. And the horse finished second by 3.5 lengths that day. And again, he didn't break at all that day. He sat back early. He was really gaining late, but he has to get out of the gate. If this horse gets out of the gate today, this horse has a real chance of winning. 2 back in the La Brea at Santino, 7 furlongs, 26th of December. He finished 4th by 4.25 lengths. Again, not the best beginnings, was wide. He moved a little bit late, but the winner, Daddy's Ruby, who's running back to win, really freed on the front end that day to get the job done. And then off to 25 at Churchill, 6 furlongs in early November. First off the long refreshing, he won by a head that day, and he got the job done. A little bit, going away very nicely there. It was on the early Oaks Trail last year, ran the fantasy at this fixture last year where she didn't do a lot of running around 2 turns, but won an optional allowance race here last March quite nicely over the 6 furlongs, won by 1/3 lengths. He really took off clear. This horse wants to sprint. She's back to it again today at 8-1. I think she could get a good trip to win. I think the 6 horse here, it was Litos for Steve Asmussen and Tyler Gaffleon could get a trip to win. Won the Carousel most recently in late February over this track quite nicely by 1.5 lengths with an 83 buyer. And again, she really took off clear late from a tracking trip. Prior to that allowance race here on the slab going 6th in early February, she won by 3.25 lengths. And again, a very, very easy run. She's a winner of her last 3, winning at Churchill in early November. She likes this track. She's training well locally. She could definitely win. Let's use her in the pick 4. But to recount my selections for the 10th from Oaklawn, now it's the Matron. Going to take the 7 horse here, Royal Spa. Give kudos to the 6 horse Litos, 7-6 8-5 Super, 7-6 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 11th race. The co-feature on the program from Oaklawn, almost said Churchill, but it's Oaklawn, the 11th race from Oaklawn. It is the Fantasy Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse $750,000, race for 3-year-old fillies. We have a field here of 12 horses going 1,700 meters, or mile 16th here in the Fantasy. I'm going to go to the 12 hole, to the number 12, Torpedo Anna. I'm going to go 12, 8, 110 in the superfecta. 12, 8, 110 super. Top selection 12 horse, Torpedo Anna. The 3-year-old filly by Fast Anna. Kenneth McPeak trains. Brian Hernandez Jr. gets to mount. This horse always has crap post draws. It just always crap post draws. 8 of 8, 6 of 6, 10 of 12. Today, 12 of 12. So maybe one of these days this horse will finally get an inside post draw. But most recently in the Golden Run in late November at Church over the mile 16th, she finished second by 5 1/4 lengths that day. She didn't break that well. She was wide and she just couldn't get there. She just, needed something more. Today, a little bit better race for her. She's training quite well at the fairgrounds since the last run. I think she'll see a strong pace to close up into, and I think she's going to be, she should improve from that 2-year-old to 3-year-old campaign here today. Two back in opposite 100 at Church over the mile, 10th of November. She won by 9 that day, and again, a wide poster. I didn't get out of this gate so clearly and was in the parking lot most of the race, but when she got to the front end, she took off clear, and the 87 buyer, not a bad race there in maiden, Victor, and then a key in late October over the 7. She won by 8.5 lengths that day, and again, a very wide poster. She saw a good pace to close up into, and she got the job done. Like I said, what I said earlier, it was a main Victor. It wasn't. It was the first time allowance for Victor. But refreshing here. Second start around 2 turns. Again, going to have to overcome a wide poster in the parking lot. But I think she has the ability to get a good trip here and see a strong pace to run into. You have to watch out for these late closes at Oaklawn. They're coming down the middle of the track. But hopefully she could save some ground. Wide around 1 turn's okay. Wide around 2 turns, it's disappointment. I think the 8-horse West Omaha, Tyler Gaffalione and Brad Cox is your second likeliest winner. Most recently in the Honeybee locally over the mile 16th and at the end of February, she finished third by 4 lengths that day and didn't get out of the gate so clearly that day. Was wide, and she needs something more that day. Prior to then, the Silver Billet Day over the mile 70 at the fairgrounds in January, she won by 5 that day, and she really took off clear. That was a very good performance. And then prior to then, the Untappable at fairgrounds over the mile 70 in late December, she finished second by 2 lengths. She needed something more that day, and she was a little bit wide, but she got down the race course well. She's making her 6th start today, and on all 5 of her starts, she hasn't run half bad. She always, she's always with them, and she always runs these sneaky good races. She's training well locally. I'll give her a shot here at 4-1 the ticket. The one horse in my main squeeze here, Wise Guy horse, she's either going to win or she's going to finish way out of it. I have her 3rd in this race. Her races in New York weren't bad at all. She won the Mattie May at Aqueduct. She won the Franklin Square, and she won the Maid of Mist, quite nicely. All against stakes quality horses. She's facing open company for the first time. That's going to be the biggest question with her. At 3-1, she's the Wise Guy. If you have the extra payroll, use her on the pick 4, but I think the other two are better value than her. But to recap my selection for the 11th now from Oaklawn, it's the grade 3 Fantasy. You're going to take the 12-horse Torpedo Anna. Give kudos to the 8-horse West Omaha and the 1-horse My Main Squeeze. 12-8, 110 Super. 12-8, 1 in the multi-race. The 12th race now from Oaklawn. It's the feature of the meet. It is the Arkansas Derby. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse $1.5 million. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 10 horses going 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 on the main track. Taking the 2-horse Timberlake. 2-7-5-9 in the superfecta. 2-7-5-9 super. Top selection 2-horse Timberlake. This 3-year-old colt by Into the Mischief. Brad Cox trains. Flavian Pratt gets to mount. Bought this horse for $350,000 at the Keeneland September 2022 sale. Still not the most expensive horse ever bought there, but not in this race either. But most recently, I ran the horse in the Rebel locally, mile 16, 24th February. First off the bench. They finally got him back to the winner's circle at 80 cents a dollar. He won by 2 lengths that day. He stalked, he got the lead, and he quickened up nicely. Not the fastest buyer, but it was still a very good return to the races. He should improve off the bench. He gets a better poster here today. He gets Flavian up. I think he's sitting on that good run. 2 back in the Breeze Cup Juvenile at Santa Anita, mile 16, 3rd November. He finished 4th by 8 lengths that day. They should have let him run. They didn't. They had a tight hold on him, which cost him. He just couldn't get there late. Fierceness really put on a show. Muth, who finished 2nd, who's running back this one, ran a terrific race for the place that day. This horse, I just didn't think it was Full Ron's best ride there. And then here in New York at Aqueduct on the slop in the Champagne, he won by 4 1/4 lengths. He had a wide trip, but you wanted to be wide that day. And he, came home clear, beating Fierceness home, who went on to win next start out in that Breeze Cup Juvenile, and went horribly in the Holy Bull after that, or whatever it was. Was it the Holy Bull or was it Bound of Youth? I can't even remember now. But, he ran terrifically here in New York. And then the Hopeful, he finished second by 1/2 lengths behind Nutella. Again, a little bit wide. He should have won that day. Nutella just had the better trip and caught him. And then, he broke the main at Nellis quite nicely before that with an 87 buyer. But he's training well. He could definitely win here at 9-5. Shit price to know. I think the 7-horse Muth is your second likeliest winner for Baffert and Juan Hernandez. You're likely Preakness favorite, I think. Coming around 2 turns for the first time in a little bit. Most recently over the 1 turn and 7 furlongs, San Vicente, Santa Anita. He won by 2 3/4 lengths that day and took off clear on the front end. That was a very good performance. Prior to that, in the Breeze Cup Juvenile, he finished second by 6.5 lengths. Fierceness took off clear. This horse just kind of stalked him that day. And in the American Pharaoh, he won by 1 3/4 lengths that day, or 3 3/4 lengths that day. And again, it was a very easy front-end victor. You have to watch out for these Bob Baffert horses coming to Oaklawn. And 8-5, he's training well. He's definitely run races fast enough. I would use him here. And a bit of a wise guy's 5-horse, Liberal Arch, Robert Medina, and Tyler Gaffleone. I thought that, the race in the Southwest wasn't bad at all. He needs something more. I thought a little bit of a longer trip would suited him, but he got down the race course well. His Street Sense race wasn't bad at all, and the 3rd in the year course wasn't bad at all. He's definitely been on the improve with the buyers. I would give him a shot here at 15-1, possibly blow up this late pick 4. I think this is, this is the race that's either going to go to like a 9-5 or 8-5, or to like a 15-1 like Liberal Arts. But it's a good Arkansas Derby this year, I think. But to recount my selections for the 12th now from Oaklawn, it's the Grade 1, $1.5 million Arkansas Derby. Going to take the 2-horse Timberlake. Give kudos to the 7-horse Muth and the 5-horse Liberal Arts. 2759 Super, 275 in the multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everyone.